Hello everyone, I just thought I'd do this little intro to explain a few things. Firstly, you might have noticed that the podcast turned up late. Yes, it has. And then you may also notice that the sound quality kind of jumps about a bit. Yes, it does. The reason being that our friends over at cleanfeed.net, ended up with a major database issue which collapsed their servers for a bit and then also took out our recording. So we are late. We were recording quite late, trying to make up the time. And there's an awful lot of moments where we kind of go off on tangents and kind of ramble and stuff more than usual. Partly down to the fact that we were getting punch drunk and it was about 1 o'clock in the goddamn morning. So, do listen. Do take that into a consideration and enjoy the show. We will be back at normal time next time, recording as per normal, but on a different system, not clean feed anymore. Anyway, there you go. Thank you very much. On with the show. So, I have start the podcast with a question. What do you call a Viking who has been bitten by a vampire? He's a Norse Ferratu.
Oh, man.
Oh.
And those who aren't bitten by vampires...
Don't slap him, Jim. Don't slap him. Okay? I know he's treading on your territory, but just he may just give up. He may stop.
No.
I'm going to fucking slap you for that. I can't.
But Vikings, when they're...
Don't move, he senses movement.
he senses fear. Yeah. But did you hear about the Viking who was reincarnated? He was Bjorn again.
Oh.
Thank you.
Ow.
Theme, though. Points for doing a theme.
Theme, we're on theme, okay.
Yeah,
Did you hear about the Viking who was actually a cannibal? He had a sweet tooth. Do you know there's actually a type of graph where you can actually see how much time a Viking spends raiding versus a time of how much he spends pillaging, and how much they do the same both at the same time. It's called a Sven diagram.
Jesus.
What do you call a non?
Oh my God! There's more.
Yeah. What do you call a Viking who doesn't eat meat? A Norwegian.
Shame. Shame.
Okay. Well, last thing I was going to say was normally they buy cars nowadays. I hear the latest Viking warlords all drive fjords. Okay.
Oh, God.
Well, anyway, hello everyone.
That actually hurt.
Look, give me points for trying to be on theme, you know? At least I didn't do it in Old Norse. Read it to you.
You could have read them like this.
You want me?
No, he said Norse, not Italian.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, not Welsh.
Hey, yo, Giuseppe. With the jokes. What's this with the jokes? Yes?
Hey, look at that man. He's on our roof. What's he doing on there?
Jesus Christ, we've just set
Fucking
back
hell.
race relations back about
So we're
700
doing this in the
years.
original Polish, are we?
Let's
Yay!
do it. No, there's no subtitles for that.
No, stop it, bring it back, reverse. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome to Black Dog version 2, number 176. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Gold Leader.
You are Gold Leader. You most definitely are. Bless you, Gold Leader. Yes, and welcome. And this week we'll be seeing how everyone's week's been, except for Elton, who's done fuck all apparently.
Yep.
And then we will get to some feedback, if there's any, for last week's episode, which was The Social Network. And then we will move on to this week's movie, which is my choice, which is The Northman. Robert Eggers' The Northman. And for those of you who don't remember, Robert Eggers was the director who brought us... Yes.
Don't say.
Yeah, don't say. So we'll see how that goes a little later on. But first, let's find out how everyone's week's been. And I'll start with you, Jim. As ever, how's it been, sir?
Well, we enjoyed a typical bank holiday here, which was rainy.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd go to sunnier climes for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sort of.
Okay.
Sunnier climes overrun by zombies. So
Okay.
we did little with our time off apart from play Dead Island 2
Oh, right.
and master various ways of dismembering the undead
Fair enough.
with a variety of implements and weapons.
Okay. And how are you finding that?
I'm really, really enjoying it, actually. Because there's like a story and there's missions, but there's lots of side quests, so you can just amble around and do things at your own pace, and it is a lot of fun. And you have you can play different characters. Now I'm playing a Londoner called Jacob, and he does have some very good lines, which are properly on point British humour.
Nice.
It's like at one point where he has to go through the sewers, and he's going down the sewers, and then there's like a steel mesh door that is locked, and his quip for it is just, "Oh, bollocks!"
Yeah.
Perfect.
That sounds about right.
Yep. You said what I was thinking, my man. You're the character for me.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
In other news, I've been mastering the art of baking pasties in the air fryer.
Oh my
have you
God.
now? Okay, I've got the pen and paper.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, lazy pasties. Get some of the just roll out pastry.
Yep.
Cut it to a decent size to go in your air fryer. And on one half, try this one. A smear of whole grain mustard, some chopped mushrooms, a layer of cheese, a layer of ham, fold it over, crimp, egg wash on top, and then air fry at 200 degrees for about 8 minutes for baked pasty perfection.
Right.
Very nice. Got it. I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Hold on. So that's it, is it, Jim? That's
the simple pasty. You can go for the advanced egg box meatball pastry extravaganza.
Yeah, this is all air fryer-tastic, is it?
It is. It'll work.
Yes.
You can do it in an oven just twice as long, basically.
Right.
But yeah, you get an old egg box, get your just rolled pastry, carefully work it in so the pastry goes into all the little egg depressions.
I'm in an egg depression right now. Yeah, carry on.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, go on.
But we'll work it in a conventional oven as well, just twice as long. But then in the egg box depression, I make my own homemade meatballs, which is just seasoning, mince, and breadcrumbs. All scrunched together. But in the depression, you can put, say, like a blob of mustard or Branston, a bit of cheese, put your meatball in, top with more cheese, then flip over the top, seal it up, and you've got this wonderful... Take out the egg box and bung that in the air fryer or oven, and you've got a delicious meatball pasty.
You know, Egg Box Depression is actually the name of the band I was once in.
Egg Box Depression is the name of my fucking biography at this point. Anyway, yeah, okay, Jim. Oh... Thanks for that. That's
very tasty.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great.
Giving that a go.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
So will you be back with another air fryer recipe next week? Yeah. Just so
Possibly.
I know that I can queue up left bank again. Just so I know. Oh right. Okay. Well. Cool. Anything else, sir?
No, I'll probably leave that there. My work here is done.
Your work here is done. The world is fed. The air fryers of the world have been recognised, and we can move on.
But I will say, if you're making your own burgers or meatballs, do not have this bollocks about putting in chopped up onion or some egg to bind it together, because it doesn't fucking work. After years of trying to do these, I finally cracked the recipe. Just seasoning, grated up breadcrumbs, low-fat mince, scrunch it all together. You get a delicious burger or delicious meatball that stays together when you cook it and doesn't just fall apart.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yep, so a handy kitchen hint there.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Right. Join us next week for more of Jim's Kitchen Tips. I'm going to make a jingle. Seriously, I'm going to make Air Fryer Corner, Air Fryer Annex. Cool. Okie dokie. We'll move. Obviously, you've got nothing going on, Elton.
No, just move on.
Nothing at all, apart from being labelled Gold Leader.
No, just move on.
Okay.
Just move on. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Moving on. In which case, we'll move on to you then, Darren. How's it been, sir?
Well, it's been a real sort of filmtastic sort of week for me.
Yes.
This week.
Yes.
Indeed. I have been to the cinema.
The cinema, you say?
Yes, I have been to the cinema.
The cinema, okay.
I did actually go to the cinema.
I never said anything otherwise, mate.
I'm just saying, I just went to the cinema.
Okay.
I went to I didn't go to the cinema. I went to the cinema. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yes.
Just to put that out on there, just to thing. And so this week, the first one I saw was The Fall Guy.
Oh, did you see that at the cinema?
I did. I saw that at
the
cinema.
I did as well.
Did you, Jim?
I thought I saw you, Jim, at the cinema.
Funny enough, I've seen that at the cinema too.
Yes. I think we all went to the same one. I'm pretty sure. Even though Jim lives all the way up north and I live all the way down south, I think there is one that we actually accidentally kind of cross paths.
Yeah, somewhere around about Birmingham where we can all converge.
Yeah, round about there.
It's the Odeon Equidistant. It's a very fine venue.
Yes, that one there.
Yeah.
So, Fall Guy.
Nobody asked me.
No, well, have you been to the cinema to see it?
No, nobody asked me to go to the cinema, so there you go.
Oh, didn't we?
You sure? Are you
sure we did.
entirely sure about
that? Did you
that?
not get the message at all? No, you're obviously not looking at your phone.
Did you not decide to go to the cinema? I'm pretty sure we sent you a message asking you to come to the cinema.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did, Lee.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Were you just being antisocial? Is that it?
I think so. I think Elton had all the options there to go to the cinema with us.
He saw the message. I'm pretty sure he saw the message.
I know he saw the message. I could see it on Facebook that he saw the message. He just ignored the message.
Yeah. Oh, I printed out the ticket.
Did you?
Yeah. Decided not to go.
Well, then, right. So if you
that's down to you, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds very much like a you problem there, Elton.
Yep. Fine. Let's move on again.
You sure?
Yes. Once again, we should never put my head above the parapet.
Dude, you keep your head above the parapet. It's fine. It's just you made a point. We should bring you along. I feel bad.
I'm glad that we're that sort of bunch of friends where, if there's nothing better to do, then, we'll come and see us. And even then, that's a bit of a push.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it slightly raining outside? Oh, I can't be bothered. No, it's slightly raining. It's just spitting.
We stood outside that cinema with the tickets in our hands.
We certainly did, didn't we?
For a fucking hour, didn't we, Jim?
Oh, my word.
I mean, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
We even bought extra popcorn.
Yeah, bought extra popcorn. Made sure the seat was warm for you, just like you like.
Indeed.
He didn't turn up.
We even got you a bag of the special giveaway commemorative hey, hey, hey. They were giving away.
Exactly. Yeah, we all had our harmonicas ready to sing The Unknown Stuntman. It's just, I don't know what your problem was, man. Seriously.
I mean, normally, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell.
Yeah.
But, see with Elton.
I would have been if he turned up, but instead I stood in the fucking rain waiting for him.
I saw you and Jim walking in the rain. You had Elton's ticket and he never showed up.
Anyway, so yeah. So you saw the Fall Guy, or we saw the Fall Guy, didn't we, guys?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We went and saw the Fall Guy.
Except for that big empty gap seat in the middle.
Yeah, that one that was sort of like Elton shaped, you know. I mean, I remember you sitting there and just getting the cushions just so that his arse would slot in there just nicely.
I know.
You got the little crevice and everything.
Got him a little booster seat so he could see over the people in front.
Yeah, it's no fun when the top of the seat in front of you is obscuring half the screen, is it?
Exactly.
So, there you go.
I even got him a commemorative Fall Guy cup, which had a little hat on it. And I wrote his name on it in calligraphy and everything.
You certainly did, yes.
Oh Jesus, he didn't turn up. We all just sat there. It just made the day sour. That's all, really.
So was the film any good?
Was the film any good? I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I really fucking enjoyed that. Afterwards, I couldn't get fucking "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss out of my head. Every time I went and did something slightly action-packed, like the washing up, that tune started playing in my head.
Yeah.
But
what about was it the Phil Collins one?
Oh.
Take a look at me now.
Just the whole film was just such a joy to watch. Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling, I'll tell you what a combination, the pair of them. They just absolutely work well together. Yeah. But I know a lot of people have said about the film, it kind of like it holds on their shoulders. That's the thing that drives it along. But I think there's an unsung hero in this, and that's Hannah Waddingham. I fucking loved her in this as well.
Yeah.
As Gail, the producer. Always got a drink in her hand. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Loved it. She was great.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, I what do you think of it, Jim? Because we didn't really discuss it. We had to all go off because we had to go look for Elton afterwards.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good Saturday night movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't really kind of that much like the TV series.
No.
But I didn't care. You know what I mean? I didn't really care at the end of the day. I thought it was the action was felt proper old-fashioned stunt work.
Mm-hmm.
The plot line was just silly enough, but just played serious enough. And in that respect, it was very like the TV series.
Yeah.
It was that kind of, just that sweet spot. It's not entirely a comedy. It's not entirely a straight action film. It's just somewhere comfortably and charmingly in the middle.
Yeah. Really, really good. Really nice watch. It really was. Yeah. I just felt, it was one of those sort of films. If you're feeling a little bit miserable, a little bit down, stick it on. Trust me, you'll be feeling better after you've watched it.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yeah,
I think, and it's just harmless fun, isn't it? You know. So yeah, The Fall Guy. If you get a chance to watch it, go see it. The second film that I watched is one that I've been waiting for a little while, and that's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Yeah. Now, I've got to admit, when I first saw the previous film, Fury Road, first time I saw it, hated it. Thought to myself, give it another chance, because the environment wasn't exactly, shall we say, conducive to having a good time.
No.
There were just various elements, arseholes and stuff like that. So when a second time watched it and just ended up really loving that film. So Furiosa's got a bit of a, it's got a bit of a, shall we say, expectation.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. And it'll probably be the same again. I'll see it a second time and I'll absolutely love it. But I liked it. It's just... Right, now, I think it was... The thing that distracted me in this film was... I mean, I've seen George Miller's films before, right?
Yes.
And he's a very sort of practical effects man.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you see the making of Fury Road and you see the stunts they did, the CG they put in there is just for like little bits, just to cover up small parts. There's no great. A lot of it, a lot of stunts and everything done with proper people, right? Well, the stuff that's in there for CG, you don't notice that much, right? Okay,
I'll give you that, but
this is what I mean.
Yeah, I just so you know, I just rail against there's no CG.
No,
thing.
that's not the case. No, the CG they used in Fury Road was well done. That's it. And they always say the mark of great CG is that you don't notice that it's CG. I mean, there were some obvious CG bits done in that, but they were really well done.
The
CG
enormous
parts,
fucking tornado for a kickoff. Yeah, but
the guitar flying towards the screen and stuff like this, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This one, you noticed there was some pretty sort of, I don't know, they even CG'd a couple of dogs in there, and it's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
What about the little girl and Anya Taylor-Joy?
Oh, right. Okay. So, performances, not a problem with any of the performances. Chris Hemsworth was typically a Mad Max villain in this. It's the sort of really quite crazy individual you would expect to be a villain in a Mad Max film.
Yeah.
Not being the same as any of the others, but still the level of crazy that he had, the sort of over the top, overblown sense of importance, stuff like that.
Yep.
It's all there, and he's really good in the role as that. What the bloody hell was his name?
Immortan Joe.
No, it wasn't Immortan Joe. He wasn't playing Immortan Joe. He was playing the person that was his faction. He's got a lot more in the way of backup, but he hasn't got the same sort of, shall we say, ballistics that Immortan Joe's got. They had those sticks with the explosive on the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Immortan Joe's lot kind of edges out his lot with the actual technology, because they do kind of challenge Immortan Joe, and they get told pretty quickly, or shown pretty quickly, while this is maybe a bad idea.
Okay.
Performances by Chris Hemsworth, absolutely brilliant. Anya Taylor-Joy, she doesn't get much to say in the film, and there is a reason for that. It is part of what she's doing, what she's up to,
right,
in the film. But Furiosa herself, from being a small child right up to an adult, it's not this thing of like helpless child that can't do anything. She's constantly thinking of like strategic elements on how to get a thing done. Of course, it's revealed in the trailer that she gets kidnapped as a small child, and it's what she does to try and get away from her kidnappers or make their life fucking difficult, which is nice to watch.
Yeah.
So, and she's not a kid that gets intimidated easily either.
Right.
Which is another great thing about her character. And it just goes from there. So, yeah, performances all round, really, really good. Anya Taylor-Joy, got no problem with her being in the role of Furiosa. And it's either they dubbed in Charlize Theron's voice in there, or Anya Taylor-Joy could just do a really good impression of Charlize Theron's voice, because they got it spot on.
Oh, right.
It sounds like her when she talks.
Because the thing I was going to mention was the fact that they transition between the young girl and Anya Taylor-Joy.
They do. They do it in 3 sections. They do it as her as a little girl when she gets kidnapped. Then they do her as a teenager, and then they move it on more from that to when she's like, I don't know, she's like about 20.
Because I read yesterday that they actually digitally merged the two actors.
Who? What, the
young girl and Anya Taylor-Joy? So that it started off 80% little girl, 20% Anya Taylor-Joy for the first bit of the film, and then as she ages up, they actually transition digitally between the two.
Yes, there's you can see the aging is all believable.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is it just like floaty eyes stuck on a kid's head or anything like that?
No, it's not. It's like when she's around about, I don't know, 14, 15, because that's, I'm guessing, around the age she is. I mean, they haven't got much work to do where she's concerned anyway, because she can look really young, depending on what role they put her in.
Yeah.
She's just got one of those sort of faces. So, yeah, the aging process they use is very believable, and she is really good in the role. She does action very well. So I think they chose the right actor for the role on this one. So, yeah, it gets the thumbs up, but I don't know. The way I'm feeling about it at the moment, it could have been a bit better.
Okay.
And then we come to the next film that I actually did go to a physical cinema to watch. Now, while I was doing overtime on the weekend, Ree and Maria went off to see If at the cinema. And they said, yeah, go see it, but take some tissues. Make sure you got Kleenex with you when you go and you watch this film. I'm like, really? That bad? But it's like, hold on a minute. This is about imaginary friends. I've seen Inside Out. I know where this can possibly go. Right?
Yeah. Oh fuck! So, here we are. We got situation bing bong. We got situation bing bong. Stand
situation back. Bing bong. That's it. Yes. It says it's high on the bing bong scale.
Maximum bing bong. We've reached
maximum bing bong. So basically, if anybody's not actually seen this, If is about a small girl who goes to New York, moves to New York to be with her grandmother, and finds that she can see imaginary friends. Right? She discovers this one day, what she does is she teams up with Ryan Reynolds' character, who can also see these imaginary friends. He's very sort of like heavily linked with them. Like, he knows about them anyway, and it's like, so you can see them as well. I've got to say, this is a very Ryan Reynolds that we're looking at in this. He's not trying to take center stage or anything. It's like, this is the child who's in this. He's, center stage all the time. It's her film. It was quite refreshing to see that he wasn't, Deadpool again. So there is a humor in there, and he is funny, but his character's more sort of reserved than you normally see him. But boy, did that cinema get dusty. I really must write and complain. Because nice. I'm sat in there, right? I'm watching this, and there's like three things I think that I can remember happen in this. And I'm now in the cinema I'm in. The chairs, if you kind of just go with like the sort of gravity system of the chair, what it does is it kind of reclines, right? So you can just let it recline. Yep. So I've let this happen because the back of the chair is in higher than the back of my head, right? So I'm sat there and I'm watching this, and the dust starts playing up in my eyes, and it's that sort of thing of honestly, I'm just leaning on my hand. I'm just leaning on my hand. I'm not trying to wipe away any tears. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Shut up.
Runs off. Flaunting along the way. So, there's just some really, there's some real, not just punching you in the feels moments. It's like the film gets you, holds you down, and keeps whacking you in the face or whacking you in the fields until there's a wet sound, right? Okay, that's it, and something breaks. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but it's really well played. I really like the film, and there's also if you've seen, and all I'm going to say this, right? Watch the credits, okay? Because at the beginning of the credits, when they're doing the cast, there's a joke in there, right? There's a joke in the credits, and it's a nice nod to Deadpool 2. That's all
right.
I'm going to say.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And I burst out laughing when I read it because it's like, oh, Reynolds, you cheeky git. Yes.
You cheeky scamp.
You cheeky scamp, you. That was funny, right? That's genuinely a nice little touch. But, yeah. That's, again, good film. One more for the kids probably than anything else, but it's definitely stuff in there for adults as well. There's some dodgy bits in it, but yeah.
Okay.
There is some slightly questionable things that go on in it, but apart from that, ignore that. Just go on, enjoy it. It's again great film.
Right.
And one to take the kids along to.
Cool.
Right. So the last and final film.
Blimey, there we go. Yep, go on.
Yes. I was trying to go for 6 movies.
6.
6, right? I had the opportunity to watch 6 films, but I never got round to it. Stuff started getting in the way. So the last film that I watched today, and I only did this because I didn't want you to be alone, Lee.
No,
I didn't want you to be alone. So I sat and watched Atlas
on Netflix,
starring Jenny from the Block, or Jennifer Lopez, as she's otherwise known. You know, like if Hallmark did science fiction,
yeah,
this would be it. This would be. I'll tell you what, it's for all the money that Netflix has got. This really, oh man, imagine, right? You've got a motorway, right? Okay, you've got 3 lanes, right? You've got Hollywood Blockbuster over on sort of like the left. In the middle lane, you've got Netflix, and in the third lane, right, you've got Asylum.
Yes.
Okay. Now, imagine the person driving the car, which is this film, right, keeps nodding off at the wheel and slowly drifting to the right, but then wakes up just in time as the tyres start drifting into the Asylum part too much. Kind of just manages to pull it back into the Netflix lane.
As he starts to hear the tyres hitting the central reservation.
Yeah, that thing, right? Okay. Yeah. As it hits that, because there's times when it's almost as if it's coming out to say that, yes, I'm an Asylum movie with a Netflix jacket on it, because it does. It goes there.
It certainly does.
For anybody who's interested, it's Jennifer Lopez plays an analyst who's
got a mysterious past.
Who's got a mysterious past? Who has to go on a mission to stop like this evil AI. So it's playing on modern fears, I feel. With the old AI thing.
I described it because there's a sort of review page on Reddit, on the Reddit movies, and they said, "What did you think of Atlas?" And I described it.
Nearly said Titanfall.
I did. I went. It was like I was playing Titanfall 2 and then had a grand mal seizure. That's essentially it. Because it's literally, it's got all the things of Atlantic Rim. Do you remember when we did Atlantic Rim?
Oh, I know that. The one where inside a robot's head looks like somebody's living room.
Exactly. And it was just like one person in the living room, and you could tell that they were in a different robot because the background had been changed with a different light bulb. And this was exactly the same. Jenny from the Block sitting basically in a cupboard. She was sitting in a cupboard with some styrofoam corner bits. And then and just crying a lot while the computer running the Titan, I'm not calling it anything else, I don't believe it, will sit there and do everything but go, I haven't got time for this shit. We have a mission to complete. And it was tedious. It was absolutely stupid. And the best bit was she's, the colonel going, yeah, we can't have her. She's unreliable. She doesn't she doesn't live up to, she doesn't respect authority. She doesn't work well with others. She's a live wire and a loose cannon, and she's hot-headed and she's strong-willed and all this sort of thing. And then she goes up to Mark Strong's commander, who's running the entire operation of flying to, and I'm not kidding here, they're going to fly from Earth to the Andromeda galaxy in a day. Yeah, so they're right.
Yep.
They're going to fly to the Andromeda galaxy and basically bomb this planet. Yeah. And attack this planet, and then it's like, but they go, oh, can she drive her mech? No, she can't. But why do they let her on the mission? You think to yourself, well, she stands in front of Mark Strong and goes, I'm going, and he goes, all right,
you can go.
All right.
My name's Mark Strong. Oh, sorry, my name's Mark Strong.
Yeah.
You can go.
You
Okay. Enough.
Yeah, you talk to me, Eggsy. You listen in my ear. No, and yeah, and then she goes, and then this headstrong, fully actualized, doesn't take any shit, doesn't work well with others, basically stands there going like this, help me, Jesus Lord, help me, for basically fucking 90 minutes. Running around in the mech, while the mech's going, calm down, tell me, do you like cake or pie? And then she's like, help me, Jesus fucking, fire the guns, help me. And it's just like, oh my God. And then finally, she gets the strength inside herself to solve the problem. Why? Because she has an emotional breakthrough. It's like, oh, fuck off. Terrible film.
Did you guys go into it thinking that it was going to be any good? Honestly.
Well, before Lee's review of it, I thought, it might be all right. Give it a watch, and then I'm like, what's this message it's trying to give me here? And everything else that goes on in it about going, taking only a day to get to Andromeda, and as you pointed out, Lee, it's like a bus ride away. They jumped on the bus. And
they got on the bus.
They got a red bus Rover for 60p.
Yeah.
I cut back to the 80s.
I didn't expect anything, but I was just like, it was a bank holiday, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, I want to watch some films. So I thought, well, I've heard about this thing. I'll watch it. I don't know what I'm going to get. And sometimes you get these films where people go, oh, it's bloody rubbish. And you think, okay, well, actually, it's not. And then I watched it and I thought, oh, actually, it is. And Darren, as he's already said, come out in sympathy, didn't you, mate? That's your problem.
Yes, I did. I thought, all right, well, let's watch this. I won't leave Lee to face this by himself. I'll join him so that this is like, no, actually believe what he says. He's telling the truth, people. He's not mad. Honestly, he's not.
I saw it, so you guys didn't have to, but he didn't listen. You just didn't listen. But yeah,
not at all.
But if you want to see Jenny from the block, and they carefully, if the robot falls over, they tilt the camera slightly sideways in her little cubby hole, and then when the robot's standing up, they tilt the camera the other way so you know that she's standing up. And and the brilliant bit is the robot won't do anything unless it's fully synced with her.
Yeah,
and that requires it to emotionally connect with her. But that was one of the stupidest things. The fucking mech is sort of like, I'm here to protect you, and you're like, right, okay. And then all these robots start attacking this fucking mech.
Oh fuck! Oh
yeah,
fuck.
and
Ouch.
exactly.
Oh.
And all it does is stand there going, oh fuck, oh fuck. It's like, I thought you were programmed to protect her, and then it's like. And she goes, shoot, have you got cannons? And it's like, yeah, I have got cannons. It's like, well, will you shoot them? And he's like, oh, you mean your rocket pod that can turn around and shoot behind you? Behind me? And she goes, yes. What? And he goes, okay, I think I can do that. And turns the cannon around. It's like...
He did the equivalent of saying, why didn't you tell me we had them? You didn't ask.
Yeah. Exactly. The fuck. That's like I've got a gun, but you got to say please nicely to the gun before you can pull the fucking trigger. It's like stupid as fucking stupid can be. And then on top of that, it's like they do this plot drop bit where they go, "Oh yeah, we got 40 rockets, 2 plasma cannons, shoulder-mounted rockets that can go 360 degrees, and
It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses.
One iron pod." One iron bomb. And it's like, right, okay. And then she goes, "Drop the iron bomb." And he goes, "We can't do that because she dropped the iron bomb." And it goes, and it fucking detonates everything, blows it all up. And you think, oh, so they've blown everything up with the ion bomb. And then it's like, and I've got one other thing, a super secret cannon that nobody knows about in my secret design.
Yes.
Oh, I wonder where that's going to come in handy. Oh,
I've got a willy gun. Oh, sorry, no.
It was a willy gun, wasn't it?
Yes, I've got a willy gun. Here's my willy gun. It's got one shot. It's like, well, that's typical. And then I've got to go to sleep afterwards. And then when I wake up, it should be good to go again.
Yeah, I've got one willy gun, and when I fire it, someone else ordered the pizza. I am quite sleepy.
Well, I've been swimming, haven't I? No. Anyway, the tiny gun. Yeah. Well, it's cold on this planet. Yeah. And the technology is only, shall we say, works for however you want the plot to go. So you can't have your brain scanned unless you've got this thing on your ear, right? That can help scan the thing. But she hasn't got one on her ear, and she tells the computer to stop scanning her brain. And it's like, but you just said that you've got to wear one of these to scan your brain. Mm-hmm. So, why suddenly do you think it's scanning your brain? Although I did like that, stop scanning my brain for my name. Well, it's on your chest.
Yeah, it's written on the badge on your uniform. Yeah,
fuck's sake, they're sending you to save the fucking world. Is that right?
It's so much stupid about this fucking film. It's just beyond belief. And then you've got Simu, whatever his name is, the bad guy,
Simu Liu,
who can only read people's minds. Now, bearing in mind that everyone's got these little transmitter things on the side of their heads, it can only read your mind. He can only read your mind if he jams like a tiny needle through your eye. Right?
Yeah, apparently so.
And he does this jamming the tiny needle through the eye of a captured soldier. And you're seeing it. It's like super painful. It's and then next thing you know, the guy's pretty much fucking gone and dead.
Yeah.
But then J-Lo gets captured. And then it's like, here comes the needle in the eye. And you think, oh, any minute now she's going to get rescued. But no. She gets the needle jammed in her eye, and she just goes, and that's it. It's like, oh, it didn't kill her. No, because she's special. She's Ginny from the block. She's special.
Yeah, you're expecting her later on to maybe turn up with like a badass eye patch or something like this and complete the look.
Oh, no. It literally makes zero difference to her whatsoever. It's just, and that's the problem. The technology works when it has to work, and then it stops when it doesn't.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, when your colleague is dying, right, and he's run out of air because his rebreather is running out of juice, it's always handy if you just jump inside the mech and sit there for 10 minutes,
have a conversation
with the mech while the bloke's going on a fucking operating table.
Yeah, that does work.
It's a wise course of action.
I think so. Yeah, the Colonel, he's dying, is he?
Indeed.
Yes. Well, what can we do? Well, I tell you what, let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah. Let's do a couple of fucking Sudoku puzzles, shall we? There we go. Yeah, work that. Oh, I get what you mean now. Yeah.
Oh,
do you remember when wagon wheels used to be bigger? Do you remember that? Do you get that? Yeah, I remember them. Yeah. How'd you know about them? Well, I scanned your mind, didn't I? I remember. I now remember wagon wheels, how they used to be bigger. Like at one point.
Did you get Wordle last night? No.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your Wordle score? What was the one you got? What was the word?
I always get stuck when I have too many vowels and not enough consonants in the old guesses, and I'm down to my last two.
Did you check out Bridgerton though? You know what I mean?
Meanwhile,
did
the
you check out Bridgerton?
Table
By the way, who's the blue prick on the operating table there? Oh shit! Yeah.
Anyway, so you're not chuffed with Atlas.
No. They'll wait to see how popular it is, and then they'll make a sequel.
No, they won't. I really
No?
hope they don't.
You
Anyway,
don't think so, no?
I pray to the gods that they don't.
We don't need any more. And don't you love the way that, you know, the one mission, right,
We should have
qualifies
done
you.
this as a film.
Yeah,
go
one mission qualifies you to become a full-blown ranger without going through the years and years of sort of like delicate tactical training that you need to, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I've done a few spreadsheets in my time. That should help.
I have.
With, the
I mean,
combat situations.
And I've got a magnetic chess piece.
I've got a magnetic chest piece. Yeah.
Don't forget that. Right. Well, anything else, sir?
Well, apart from the other 3 movies I watched.
Oh my
fucking!
Fuck's sake!
Now the TV shows I'll be watching.
No. Thank you for listening, and we're off now. Goodbye.
It was an Englishman. I don't know. It was going, shut up.
God. Oh well, there you go. All right then. We'll leave it there. I mean, I've literally got nothing to talk about because you've talked about Atlas, and I've seen that. We talked about Fall Guy, and I've seen that. And the only other thing I've got, apart from Boy Kills World, which is basically a 1 hour and 25-minute fight, and then it's another 45-minute fight straight after that. So it's just, it's okay. Yeah. Unless, of course, you don't like cheese graters. Don't watch it if you're allergic to cheese graters.
I don't even want to know.
Yes. Punchy, 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 but use the cheese graters as a bunch of fists. Yes. Yes. No. Oh, yes. Yes. It's got that scene in Boy Kills World where he's fighting in the kitchen using only a cheese grater.
I thought you were going to say they're in a salt and vinegar factory or something like that. You know,
you know what? It might as well be. You saw this, didn't you, Jim?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're due to watch it. We're going to watch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just for the listeners, Boy Kills World is a film with another Skarsgård in it, Bill Skarsgård. Mm-hmm. And he plays a boy who is both deaf and mute for reasons which I won't go into right now. But he has the voice in his head of H. John Benjamin, a.k.a. Archer. And essentially, he goes on a massive rampage of revenge, which sounds very familiar, very much like the plot to the film we're about to review. And, and essentially, It's an hour and 25 minutes of just an endless single choreographed fight, isn't it? Pretty much,
more or less. Yeah,
more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, you just sit there going, and the fight is about to end, so we can have some plot. When? And it's like, nope, we're going to carry on fighting, and we're still going to carry on fighting, and yeah. That's about it. There's not a lot more to say about it, I don't think. Would you agree, Jim? Or
it was a good Friday night film.
Oh, God.
High octane, batshit bonkers.
Yeah.
Quite funny.
Oh yeah, it is funny.
Kind of.
Yeah,
especially the whole thing with the voiceover. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but
No.
It is genius.
Yeah. The moment you realise that some of these voices are coming from somewhere else.
Yes.
Bumbleclump, grab a rice? What's a grab a rice? Bumbleclump, what?
Robot with the banjo?
What robot? What's the robot with the banjo doing? Should I just nod? And So yeah, it's funny. It's high octane, but I don't know if you'll agree, but the last 25-minute fight, you feel like the film ended already. Please, why are we doing this again? I don't know about you, Jim, but
you do end up a bit punch drunk by the end of it.
Yes.
But it kind of reminded me of a shoot 'em up.
Yes.
It's that kind of, this does for fist fights what shoot 'em up did for gunfights.
Yeah, exactly.
Although there is a lot of gunfights in this, and fights with cheese graters and a great many other improvised weapons that have to be seen to be believed.
Yes, yeah. There comes a point where you just think, is there anything that's not going to be used as a weapon in this film? Tables, chairs, pieces of furniture, frying pans, you name it. It's all there. It's all coming at you at high speed. But no, the Skarsgård brothers are clearly clearing up on the looking ripped and smacking the fuck out of people with a minimum amount of dialogue. But anyway, so the only other thing I've got written down, which is really just a throwaway thing, which was I did some gardening over the weekend. I went out my garden with various power tools.
Ooh.
But the only thing I was going to say, which is a public service announcement, which is if over the bank holiday you're looking after someone's dog, yeah?
Yes.
Just bear in mind that in the garden will be little tiny landmines of joy.
Oh.
And you forget that these things exist because the dog's gone out there and then come back in and you think, yeah, I'll clear all that up. Except you forget, and then you go through the grass with a strimmer. Don't go through the grass with a strimmer without first checking. Because when you hit a stack of shit with a strimmer, it's amazing what 1500 RPM plus a piece of string will do to your garden, your shoes, the bottom half of your trouser legs.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit. I tell you what, that's a quiz show right there. That's a game show right there. It's called Shit Strimmer. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to put it in a piece of paper. I'm going to mail it to myself. Shit Strimmer Minefield. And you answer.
Time for Shit Strimmer Minefield.
Yeah, hello. It's Shit Strimmer Minefield. Welcome to Shit Strimmer Minefield. And you answer a question. And if you answer a question, you only have to strim like a one square. The garden will have squares like I don't know, like battleships. And if you answer a question, you get to pick. If you answer a question right, you get to pick a square and put the strimmer in it.
You sink my battleship.
If you get the question wrong, your opposing team gets to pick 2 squares for you to strim.
Oh, no.
You see? And you've got in there a constipated dog that's let loose in one of those squares. And whoever finds the shit strimmer gets covered in shit. And the audience goes, oh, no, that's shit. And they don't win. See? There you go. Fucking format. Wrap it up. Thanks very much. Thank you. That's
Number Wang.
Yeah, that's Number Wang. Thank you. So Shit Strimmer coming to TV near you. In fact, I could sell that to Netflix right now. Call it Shit Strimmer. Shit Strimmer Minefield.
Presented by Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you hit 2 piles of shit, you get to write the next Atlas movie.
There we go.
So there you go. So that's really my week. Fall Guy, Boy Kills World, Atlas, and dog shit strimming issues. But
you know what? That sounds like the first track off of the album Eggbox Depression.
Yeah, it does.
Really does. Shit. What was it? Shit strimming.
Shit strimming Minefield.
Shit strimming Minefield. Yes,
that's the new one by Faith No More.
You wanted shit.
It's when it goes. It's when you can hear the thing go, and then when it hits something, it goes. Next thing you know, your trainers have gone from white to brown. Your fucking trouser legs all gone, and the dog's looking at you, going like, "Why the fuck did you do that?" You're like, "What?" Anyway, let's move on to the feedback. Oh God. The feedback was pretty straightforward, really. Everyone ignored the film and got really hung up on the bear discussion. Oh dear. I didn't know what... I mean, me and Elton, we didn't know what the bear discussion was, which was if you meet a bear in the woods or a man in the woods, which one is worse? Mm-hmm. And we didn't understand where it came from, what the context was of it, and then everyone wanted to inform us of what the context was. So
I kind of knew what the context meant.
Well, I didn't. I was completely oblivious to it.
Right.
But we did have David Jackala writing to say, the bear discussion is pretty considerable considering the number of women that listen to true crime podcasts. A bear is a bear and will do bear things. A man in the forest could wrap your head in packing tape, keep you as a sex doll until they got bored, and then dismember you and bury you under the porch like Fred West did. Even getting mauled by a bear is preferred option to someone like the Toy Box Killer. Indeed, so many weird tales come from psychos in woods that my favourite murder podcast sells merch with the "Stay out of the forest" written on it. So there you go. So now we have context. And then Teresa posted up another meme of the 4 horsemen of why she chose the bear last week, which was Harvey Weinstein, some gimboid who was telling everyone at a commencement thing at college that, you know, women, even though they were engineers, should be looking forward to making babies and looking after them in the kitchen. And then there was Sean
currently
Puffy
in prison.
Coombs. Yeah, and then there was that fucking, who's that guy who looks like John Cryer as Lex Luthor and is crap and is currently being held in Romania for rape charges. Andrew Tate. That's it.
Andrew Tat, as I call him.
Andrew Twat. But it doesn't matter.
He was on Twitter recently trying to claim that food was woke.
Food was woke, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're really sad if you're interested in cooking and eating because it's just functional. You should just buy some energy drink he's trying to shill us. He's better than eating. You sad loser.
Yeah. So there you go. But if you want more context for that, because I'm not getting into it, because I've now got context and I don't need to explore that any further because I already know which way that's all going. But it's all on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/The Black Dog Podcast. And if there's any more true crime meme things you want to throw my way, by all means do so. I might not necessarily read them out, but do let me know. Because if I don't know what these things are, how the fuck am I supposed to comment on them? I can't be held responsible for being for upsetting people if I have literally zero context for any of this shit.
Yeah, I like to upset people, with educated, insults.
Yeah, if I'm going to upset someone, I want to upset someone deliberately rather than inadvertently because I was being completely ignorant. I want to be numbingly ignorant. So anyway, so there you go. So send me your feedback to Lee. Sorry, no, don't send it. Send it in to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com or go to the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/The Black Dog Podcast. That very nearly went wrong. And up next is my phone number. Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. Time to take a break, roll some jingles, and then we'll be back for the Northman. Roll the jingle.
Zonnefrank kom om af met nutsbot de louter villa Aisa hamaa Wil treffen dräcka vart till New-Irlanden Att väga grioda och att lacka och sunge Väl hölver Framsvepen med vitteljura Västerstrande i Sokjum
I think I'll leave it there. If you're going to do the immigrant song, do it in old 7th century Norse. That's what I say.
With your old throat singing there as well.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Get a bit of Harkonnen throat singing in there. Anyway, right. The Northman is the 2022 American epic historical action film directed by Robert Eggers from a screenplay he co-wrote with Sean. I'm saying Sean, but it's Sion, an Icelandic poet, novelist, lyricist, and screenwriter. It's probably pronounced it totally wrong. It's based on the legend of Amaleth. The film stars Alexander Skarsgård, who also produced it, Nicole Kidman, Claes Bang, who was last seen, I believe, in the remake of Dracula that was on BBC, the dramatisation one. He was Dracula. And then you've got Anya Taylor-Joy, Gustav Lund. I'm trying really hard with this. Ethan Hawke, Bjork, Tinkly Tinkly Bing Bong, and William Dafoe. Hello,
Bjork?
everybody. Yeah, Bjork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
York was in this.
Yeah. Yeah. She was the lady
eyeless
with,
witch.
yeah, she was the lady with the sugar puffs on her eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the fly screen that stops the flies from coming in?
Yeah.
Get that over her head.
She had that over her head.
Oh man. Yeah. You see now, whenever anybody says Bjork to me, I keep thinking back to that spitting image sketch they used to do, which is 101 things to do with a Bjork. Number 52, a pop star. Bling blong blong ding bling blong blong. All right, maybe not.
Yeah. Anyway. Yes. Yes, the film, as I say, it retells this legend of Amaleth, a vengeful son after the king and his father are slain by the half brother, the uncle, and it was the basis for the legend of which would then become the basis for Hamlet, and also therefore the Lion King. So there we go. If you wanted to see where the Lion King came from, it came from a bloodthirsty Viking and an Earth Witch. Yes, and it premiered in Stockholm at the Rigoletto Cinema on March 28th, 2022, and then went into theatres worldwide April 13th, 2022. And it had a budget of $70 to $90 million. Yes, how much do you reckon it made at the box office, Elton?
I'm not too sure, but I've got your nose.
You haven't. Where's my nose? Nice. And now I want the rest. Okay. Darren, how much do you reckon, mate?
What did it make? It made a sword through the front of the face. Yeah, just that. I was going to say it made more, but no, it didn't actually. It was just a sword through the nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and what about you, Jim? What do you reckon it made?
60 million in Valkyrie's dental bills.
Yeah. Invisalign adverts. Yeah. Well, actually, you're all wrong, because what it made was at least one incestuous relationship and a terrible game of hockey.
Only one.
Only
incestuous
one.
relationship.
Well, another thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
so moving on. Yes, so let's go around the table. Quick, non-spoilery, quick reviews before we get into the chat. It was my pick, so I'll go last. So we'll start with you, Jim. What do you think of The Northman?
I really enjoyed this. I've been meaning to get around to see it for a while and just basically haven't.
Yep.
But partly because kind of after Lighthouse, it's kind of like, what am I letting myself in for here?
Yeah.
I mean, I did like The Lighthouse, but it was kind of, I felt like in a certain mood to go into that kind of a film again. So I was quite glad when you picked this. Right, I have no excuse now. I have to do this, and I was very pleased. I did, and then now it's kind of like 3 for me from Mr. Eggers, and kind of looking forward to his take on Nosferatu coming at the end of the year.
Oh God, yes, very much so. Cool. Okay, and what about you, Elton?
I was a little disappointed with this. I'm not too sure. I think it was the magical mystery type stuff. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was going to be a bit more I don't want to say gritty, but more down to earth, and it wasn't.
Right.
I think on a second viewing, it would be much, much better because I know what I'm going in for.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's not quite what I was hoping for.
Okay, that's cool. That's fair. And what about you then, Dal?
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It's really hard to enjoy a film where there's no real sympathetic main characters in it at all. Where it's like, you're all fucking cunts. Because yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's when you see the main character as an adult and what he's doing at the start there, the first opening bits of him as an adult, and it's like, oh, fuck off. This is it. No, I'm sorry. I've got no sympathy for you at all. I've got no sympathy for anybody here. That's it. Apart from maybe the people that are being held as slaves. Nah. But yeah, I mean, there's some nice, very dark parts in it, and I did like the mystical angle, and I'm kind of happy that they went with that. But yeah, man, it was just the lighthouse without the actual lighthouse. That's what it felt like, because it's like, oh, Willem Dafoe's in it again. There we go.
I am playing the fool, you see, and I speak and then I'm not even going to try.
Did you like my stolen? Tell me you like my stolen.
You're a man who thinks he's a wolf. You're a wolf that wants to stand on two legs.
You're a bar of soap wearing a hat. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. For me, I've been wanting to see this ever since we watched The Lighthouse. I'll be honest. Oh, hang on.
There will now be a short intermission.
Albertros! 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 Course you don't get bloody wafers with it!
Okay.
Right. So there we go.
Cool.
Recording.
Right, okay. So, right. I'm going to just do this. I'm going to just kick off. Sorry, Alden Nelton.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
See, you're too used to being the admin on this one, aren't you? You're too used to being the big dog on this one, pressing all the buttons.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you may notice that the sound quality has changed. You may also notice that I've just been complaining to Elton about the fact that I'm not the big dog pressing the buttons anymore. That's because Clean Feed has just fallen on its arse. And it's fallen on its arse, taken our recording with it, and luckily I've recovered some of the stuff of Jim and Darren and Elton giving their roundtable opinions of the Northman. I was just about to give mine, and then it all fell over and died. So we're just going to carry on. But just so everyone knows why this episode is going to be late, it's because Clean Feed are a bunch of cunts, and I'm not paying them another fucking penny. And now I'm feeling a little bit calmer. So, what did I think? So, Lee, what did you think of the Northman? Well, actually, I thought, thanks for asking, Lee. That's okay, Lee. Well, that's okay. I'm glad you asked. Brilliant.
It's a new room. It's all like, oh look, there's different pictures on the walls, and like the carpet's different, and the wallpaper's different,
and it all smells like a new car.
Yeah.
Look at the carpet patterns. I can see zerglings in the carpet. Anyway, so yes, what did I think of Northman? Well, I thought I genuinely liked it. There were problems I had with it, but that's because I was kind of expecting The Lighthouse and The Witch again. And those were pretty unique movies. Whereas this one, for all of its weird uniqueness, really was a pretty straightforward revenge tale, which we've seen 100 times before, but just given a really arty spin. So I was kind of expecting a little bit more than that. I was expecting a bit more narrative sort of weirdness as opposed to just weird visuals and talking in authentic Norse and, in referring to it, an authenticity. I like the authenticity of it. I like the way it was shot. I like the acting, but I very much was kind of like, but this is just Lion King, Gladiator, bits of Revenge of the Sith. I mean, it was everything, and I've seen that all before, which is kind of unfair because it is a old legend. But I was still like, but we had people going mad on a fucking island talking to mermaids earlier on. Now we've just got a Viking story, and it's a revenge story, and it's like, we've done this, but I'm not going to knock it for telling a legend which spawned everything else. But it was just, I think in my mind, I was a bit like Elton. I was kind of expecting a little more, but you know what? That's cool. So overall, thumbs up. But I think I was in my heart of hearts, I was kind of thinking you could go a little weirder. Why haven't they started farting and singing to gulls? Why have we not had some kind of song and dance number with a goat? Why
is there no wanking shed?
Why is there no wanking shed? Army wanking
shed.
You like me stolen? Yeah. So there hasn't been any of that kind of quirky weirdness. This just seemed like they threw a huge amount of money at Robert Eggers and said, "God, we're making a historical epic," and he made one which is just like all of his stuff, but not quite weird enough. Whereas, like something like The Green Knight, if someone had told me that he'd made The Green Knight, I would have gone, "Yes, absolutely." There's Dev Patel being wanked off by Alessia Vikander while also keeping his little tiny bathrobe towel on. I mean, that's that I was expecting. But overall, but Bjork with Sugar Puffs on her eyes wasn't quite there.
They do look like Sugar Puffs as well. I've just seen it again.
Puffs, yeah. But anyway, overall, thumbs up. So there you go. So that is our thoughts, assuming that I did get all of the thoughts from the download from the Cling feed fuck up, and if I didn't, we'll be back tomorrow to record those bits. But for the moment, that was our thoughts. So we're going to go into the spoiler zone now. Now, obviously, as ever, if you haven't seen this film and you don't want it spoiled for you, you can stop right here. Go watch the film. It's only 2 hours, and then come back and carry on. But if you don't give a shit, then here comes the spoiler zone noises. But I haven't got control of the buttons. Elton.
Oh no! I've already got one noise.
Well,
do you want that?
Just do it, and I'll improvise with some noises of my own. Go on. Shut up, Wesley. There you go. Right, so there we are. Baby. Tetsu Canada.
Oh my god, that actually sounded like me. Jeez.
Yeah, you will see. We forgot Mike Garwood of all the guests, the hosts, the 80s hosts. But anyway, yes, and this is me. So here we are in the spoiler zone, baby. And so we will have a little discussion. And there will be spoilers, and I don't know how much the spoilers are actually going to spoil anything, to be honest, because it's a bit mad. It's a bit of a mad movie. But let's start. Let's start at the beginning. How did everyone find the revenge flick? Because it is a revenge flick, and we've seen them before. And we've seen the trailer for this thing. Were you expecting blood, guts, and violets from the off, or were you just kind of like, let's see how this goes? I mean, what were you expecting? I think is probably the question I was asking. Go for it. Anyone wants to jump in?
Well, I was expecting something fairly mythic, and you said, I think I was braced for more weirdness than it actually delivered.
Okay.
But it was kind of. As I was watching, I was it was like, oh yeah, this is the story of Amleth, isn't it? Oh yes, of course it is. And there's also there's a few nods to like the Kirk Douglas, Tony Curtis from the Vikings in there as well. And that's not credited as being based on the story of Amleth, but there's definitely chunks of it in there. Because Tony Curtis is a prince who is fucked over, goes into slavery as a child, and he has a little like an amulet thing that he keeps safe all his life, kind of thing. And so, and there's family chicanery in the plot of the Vikings as well.
Yeah,
and so it was kind of like I was ready for a good deal of blood and guts because I sort of what I did know about this film, that it was dark, gritty, and it's not merry maidens in pastel dunces caps with floaty bits of lace on and all pretty colours. This is very much the Holy Grail sort of view of history, the Monty Python and the Holy Grail view of history. How can you tell he's a kid when he's not covered in shit?
Yeah.
True. He's very much of that school of historical accuracy, shall we say.
Yeah. Going across the sea with coconuts. Yeah. Cool. Okie dokie. What about you, Elton? Because you look like you were jumping. It sounded like you were jumping in there.
Well, I've seen the trailer for this, and we've all seen Skarsgård looking like a mahogany tabletop.
Yes.
Looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was just going to be him covered in blood and offal, constantly cutting people's heads off and stabbing people, running people through, and then it didn't. And then it turned into like Farmville for a bit.
It's Farmville? The mobile game?
Yeah.
I've not played this. I must clearly be missing something. I didn't know you could make sculptures out of your fellow farm villagers.
Fucking Stardew Valley with more raping and pillaging.
Just a little bit more, yes.
Yes.
And I quite... So the thing is, I quite liked it. I'm not going mad over it as if like it's the greatest thing. I didn't realise there was such a tale to it. I didn't realise that the story had influenced so much. I didn't know that this was gospel. See, I don't know. But so I didn't know any of the history at all. I just thought it was going to be him wandering around, destroying things, burning things, and other people raping stuff, and just having a jolly good time on their little travels. Didn't know about the story whatsoever. And... I suppose it was a nice bit of refreshing when he did actually end up going back. But it's weird that these kingdoms are so slight, really slight. He's come from a kingdom, which is basically 4 houses and a garden and a bit of a cave, and then he goes back to a kingdom, which is 3 houses and a garden and no cave, and it's like, okay. Right, I get this. Right. What are you fighting over? Okay, right, your mum's there. Did you check to see if your mum actually wanted to leave this? Or, she looks pretty happy there. And, maybe just tap her on the shoulder and go, hi, yes, long lost son. Just wondering, are you happy where you are at the moment? Oh, you are? Okay, fine. Well, yeah, I'm not a slave. I'm going to be off now. Didn't quite happen that way.
Right. Yeah. So in conclusion, you wanted more. You wanted more sort of Club 1830 and less Farmville.
More pillaging, really.
More pillaging.
Fan of the pillaging.
Loving the pillage.
Yes.
We're loving the pillage.
I love a good old pillage every now and again.
Who doesn't love a good old pillage? Right. Okay. Fair enough. What about you, Darren? Were you a fan of the pillage? You want a bit more pillage and a bit more rampaging across Northern Europe, or you?
No, I think the level of pillage was just about right. You got they said this is what we do. We do the pillaging thing. Here's an example. We just to emphasise it, we're going to shut some women and children in a shed and burn it to the ground. There you go. That's the barbecue sorted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lunch, anyone?
Has anyone got any rolls?
Yes. Anyone? Oh, damn, I forgot the mustard. Yes.
I think I'm having a stroke. I can smell burning peat. No. No. Oh, Jesus, man. Oh, that was close.
Nice.
Honestly, I thought my number was up there. I really did.
Nice.
So, yeah, the pillaging, yeah, that was like, that was a thing. Again, not really one for building sympathy for a character when he's quite happily running along and doing this sort of thing
right
as well. It's a bit like somebody dumping a fridge on a village green and being okay with that, but then get really upset if you pick it up and take it around to their house and dump it on their front yard. It's that sort of level of entitlement, really, isn't it? Because your dad gets killed and he's like pretty nasty and he's engaged in this kind of thing. You kind of just throw your hands up and go, well, kind of had to happen, didn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody was bound to get a bit upset. And there you are. Put it down to experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were happy with the level of pillage.
Yeah, I don't think we need it anymore. I got
I got me pillage level.
I kind of understood where they were going with this. It was like, I'll get you now. You can stop it now.
You got your quota.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I can see where you're going with that, mate.
Okay, no, it's just interesting because like with these kind of movies, you do expect them to go a certain way. So the person's done wrong. They build themselves up. They get themselves back into shape. They come back after the person who has done them wrong, and revenge is wrought. But what I found kind of interesting was in this particular case is pretty much like you. Is like, what are they actually fighting over? Because to my mind, the revenge had already been wrought. The dad, Ethan Hawke's character kind of goes, "Oh, you kill me and your kingdom will fall because nobody will respect you." And then by the time you find the uncle with Nicole Kidman and 4 goats and a few people in a shed.
It's a Richard Curtis film.
It's a Richard Curtis.
Four goats in a burning shed.
4 goats in a shed.
Yeah.
Basically, they've been turfed out of their kingdom. So they have already sunk as low as they're going to go. That's it. Their fiefdom was about 60 feet in every direction, and they were relying on privateers to come and give them the slaves. And that's
all very Travian, isn't it? It's all very Travian.
Travian, oh my God. Fucking Travian game. Jeez, let's not bring that up again. But so it was kind of interesting. That it was a revenge flick where the revenge had already kind of happened before the guy got there. before Skarsgård even rocked up, everything had gone wrong for this guy. So
yeah, but that's not revenge though per se, is it? That's just a downfall of which was already predicted.
So yeah, okay, fair enough. But it was just an interesting thing to me that it was kind of that whole thing, and I don't know if anyone else agrees, but revenge movies should have, or at least revenge tales, tend to work best when the protagonist and the antagonist are there. The protagonist is the actual architect of the downfall of the quote unquote bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but actually, he's not. He's already down. He's already fallen. He's lost his kingdom. He's got kicked out. He's living basically in a couple of huts, and he's got no men to speak of. He's only got his little crew of like 5 or 10, and he got turfed out. So there is no downfall, is there really? or was I mean, apart from like some.
Well,
Go on,
he's
Jim.
still clinging on as he's like he's sort of basically sort of exiled to Iceland, and he's set up as a chieftain there. He's still living on the backs of other people, if you know what I mean. There was still he wasn't totally on his arse.
No.
But by the time Skarsgård's finished with him, he is totally on his arse. The village is gone, the slaves have run, and he's completely lost his head. His wife's dead, his kid's dead, everything's in flames, everything's fucked up. Where he actually lives, the volcano's erupted. This fucking, you're not going to live here anyway. You are now comprehensively fucked by the end of it. But I think the thing with this isn't kind of, it's a story about revenge, but it isn't actually kind of, it's not like your typical, the revenge thrillers we have, where this is a man who was done wrong and you're rooting and you want that cathartic killing the bad guys. I think this is more, it's more like Blue Ruin. It's kind of, what price does revenge come with?
Yeah,
I think it's more in that sort of, it's more that shaped story.
Yeah,
than say the Bob Odenkirk Nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't see Alexander Skarsgård going at people with a couple of DIY tools, a piece of 4x2 and a bus. But
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, the idea that the revenge is kind of like almost it's just all consuming, and it's about Skarsgård kind of being destroyed by his own revenge. I get that. I kind of appreciate that, and I kind of knew where it was going. But okay, I mean, this may go back to my criticism about it not being weird enough, but I kind of had the measure of that part of the story once we'd had Bjork with the Sugar Puff Eyes, sort of saying, you will go to him, you will find this sword, the sword will have a curse, you'll have to choose between love and revenge, and then you will go into a mountain and then, Hell's Gate, and you will kill him, but it will cost you. And it's like, so you've spelt out the entire movie there. And once that had happened, I kind of was in the same position again. Oh, it's not that movie. It's like, it's more about sort of, this is fate playing out. And I don't know, I was kind of expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, maybe I was just, I don't know. I was kind of expecting it to be a bit more than just what has actually been explicitly spelt out to us by a witch within 20 minutes of the film starting.
The thing is, I think it does get to a point where, I mean, she does say it kind of, this is all prophesied, but the prophecy in it, you have the choice. You will get to a point where, the Norns will give you the option. That, you know what I mean? It's not, you can either go, what was it, the kindness to your kin, or pursue the revenge against those you hate. Yeah. And he is in the boat. He could go off the Hebrides, but he does go back. Now, to be honest, my personal theory is that Klaus Bang was so fucking shit, he wouldn't hunt him to the ends of the earth because he's a loser. No. In fact, he would probably try to put his arse out of fire, frankly. You know what I mean? Yes. Yeah. Because that volcano is probably going to erupt anyway and fuck him over completely. Because, well, but you know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't. He was a shit Viking. He walked, he's very tough at ambushing a lone man with a bunch of thugs, but clearly couldn't keep hold of his kingdom against someone else and said, "Oh, he's a wank who'll have his land." Turf him out. Yeah. So I don't think you'd come after the ends of the earth to get him at the end of the day. But it's that thing, he's so wedded to the idea of revenge, that's all he's ever known. He can't leave it. He can't leave it, and that's kind of his excuse to leave as well. You'll never be safe unless I go and kill him.
Yeah, I was going to say, did everyone feel that? It was just that last bit was just an excuse, just to piece on out and fulfill his revenge because that's all he knew.
Yeah, because it's the whole promise he's made to his father, and he's obviously held that in high regard, and that it's that whole thing of I've got to do this.
Yeah,
This is what I've been brainwashed into doing.
yeah.
Do you reckon he's brainwashed himself into doing that as well?
Well, when you see the revenge as the only thing for many years, then yeah, I think that's it. You just go along with it. You probably forget most of the reason why you're out there doing it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all he's ever really known. He's been the only sort of motivation through his formative years, you know what I mean, that's kept him going.
Yeah, the whole mantra of sort of like, I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fenrir. Over and over and over again, you know. I'll be honest with you. I did have a little chuckle to myself, and I know this is completely inappropriate, but as soon as he found out that Anya Taylor-Joy was pregnant, it was like, right, peace out. I've got a revenge to do.
Oh, I've just remembered. I've left the gas on, back on the. No, you go ahead. I'll come and join you. Yeah. No, do you want me to tell you? I've remembered it.
I was right with you.
Diving straight over the side of the boat. No, bring them up in my name.
Yeah, so I'd love to stay, but is that Abba? Where?
I see Benny and Bjorn. I'm going to see if I can find Agneta. I'll catch you up. But yeah, no.
But there is that thing though. He has the vision that all right, she's up the duffy. It's like, oh, my dynasty is safe. It's kind of there's that thing. I suppose it's that sort of thing. Kind of right. I have heirs. I have children.
Oh, the tree.
I'm good. I have fulfilled my my part in the great chain of time, or I put my branches on the world tree. Right. I better go and fuck up our uncle and then finish this off. Then. Bye.
Yeah. Peace out.
Hang on a minute. You're pregnant. Who is that? No, can't be me.
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot to put the bins out. The bins they're coming tomorrow. You carry on. But we're not coming back. But yeah, I know. But it's important. It's an honour thing. Us Vikings are like. God bless you.
Oh no! I've fallen over the side. Avenge me!
Oh, I cannot swim. Glob, blob, 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 blob.
Yeah, but
maybe.
Yeah, it was literally that. I mean, it did. I mean, like I say, I didn't want to. I didn't really want to laugh at that too much, but it did make me. It did make me giggle for a second. I did sort of go, "Oh, hang on." As soon as he found out, yeah. Oh, my line is safe. I've fallen. Vic, I've fallen over the side.
I'll pick up my gyro.
Well, I'm wet now, so I might as well, do the thing.
I'm closer to the beach than the boat.
No, you're not. No, I am.
Keep going. He's blowing on the sails.
Oh, look at me. I can't swim faster than the boat. Well, what's one to do?
No, don't turn the boat around. No, really, it's not a bother. No, honestly,
it's too late.
Turn the boat around.
It's too late. You've gone too far.
My clothes are sodden, and they seem to be dragging me underneath the water.
But anyway, it was
You're in 3 foot of water. That's
yeah. We've barely got away from the dock. Doesn't matter. Save yourself. Remain the kids of my existence.
We're still tied to the pier.
No, don't wait for me.
You do know this is a boating pond. Yeah. we're on a pedalo. You know that, do you?
Oh God.
Are we? Shit. Yeah.
Jim's regretting his life choices now, sitting here going, like, I looked up all this kind of mythology stuff, and all you're talking about is him diving over the side as soon as he found out she was pregnant.
It's like Kingpin, Lou. Come in, number 6, your time is up.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to trying to be sensible for a second. Yes. I was going to say, what was the? I mean, we had this whole thing with Social Network last week about, like, if you don't really invest in the characters, you kind of go, oh, for fuck's sake, I hate these people. And I don't want to watch this film with these people in them because I find them all being assholes. And you find it harder to get along with. Once in this film, obviously, there is pretty much everyone is irredeemable in their own way, except maybe Anya Taylor-Joy, who seems to be sort of like plotting her escape, and that's about as dark as it goes, really. So you kind of forgive her for her actions, but everyone else is just, really? Okay. What's different between that level of, nastiness and darkness in characters that you will watch it, you'll look at it differently? Because I looked at this differently. I saw irredeemable characters, but I was quite happy to watch this all the way through and be perfectly fine to go along with the story. Whereas something like Social Network, you're sitting there going, "You're a dick. I fucking hate you, and you're a dick." And I resent watching any second of this movie with you in it.
Well, Vikings have that sort of. They have all the history and the tales behind them. I don't know. Do they go off and just rampage places and take what they want and then return with their stuff? I'm not too sure, but I get that feeling. And so you go in with a level like that, so you kind of know where that level is. As with the Social Network, they're all just spoiled kids being up themselves, and you're like, well, I can't really understand where you're coming from because I've never come from a household that entitled. Whereas I don't think they're coming from an entitled place on the Viking side. And then you have Amleth with his family's just been, well, his father's just been murdered brutally in front of him, and he's run away. But you can see why he wants the revenge. There's a reason for the revenge there. It's not just bone-eyed all this, oh, do you know what? I fancy seeking revenge on this person for a petty little thing. Because that's what it felt like in Social Network. It was petty stuff that just had big numbers behind it. And so a lot of people think, well, hang on, well, that must mean a lot because there's millions and millions of dollars at risk. No, it's petty shit. Whereas this wasn't petty. this was the death of a father. And then the destroying of a kingdom. I'm not. See, I never really got the impression of the size of the kingdom that he held.
Well, there's certainly a lot of people. There was certainly when you see them at the start.
I suppose. Yeah. But it was. Yeah, you have that, and so you kind of on board with that, and then it's like a person going on hard times to get through to the revenge side of things. Someone has to go through the crap because they've been dealt a bad hand. They have to work their way back up to a state where they can then get onto the revenge cycle. And that's what we're following. And so I can get on board with him for the best part of it, I suppose.
What about you then, Jim? Were you okay with that? Or
well, the thing is with this movie, I mean, it's very much it's taking you back to a different time and a different culture, and it's it's one of the modern idiocies, I think, about kind of people looking back on things from the 70s or the 80s. I heaven help us, even the noughties now go, oh, that's unacceptable. And it's kind of, hey, I'll give you a history book. you will fucking lose your shit when you learn what they did in centuries past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of, you know, it's, but I think a lot of people probably don't realize that in early Europe and a lot of taking slaves was a centuries old practice.
Yeah.
I mean, when we say slavery now, we think of America and people taken from Africa or the Caribbean and onto plantations. That's all we think about. But actually, slavery goes a lot longer. I mean, Rome had slaves, Greek had slaves, Egypt had slaves, Babylon had slaves. The Vikings took slaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it was that was their world. That was acceptable. That was
the way things were.
That was how they lived. That's how they lived. And it's also it's kind of, I think this film does a good job of showing kind of it's a fairly precarious existence back then.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Definitely.
You literally, people are that savage and that brutal because people kind of had to be to survive.
Yeah, because life is savage and brutal. Yeah.
Yes. So it is kind of, I think context is everything. I mean, I think it's kind of, with this, it's more kind of, you're watching, it's not a story about characters who go, oh, I'm team this, I'm team that. It's more about, going back to the world of the Vikings. And it is kind of, there's an element of sort of almost travelogue to it.
Yes.
His journey is taking you through the Viking world and you're seeing different aspects of sort of Norse culture or, European culture at that time. And that's a whole different spin because you're not judging things on that sort of personal level. But it's also so far removed, we can't really relate and then we can't really judge them in the same way. People that, as Elton said, they're all super entitled, super privileged, and it's kind of, if they all came from council estates, they'd all be fucking signing on because they weren't actually that clever or talented.
No, that's true. Yeah, and they weren't given the privileges of their money and position and power, were they? In social network. Yeah. What about you, Dale? Are you on the same page with all of that, or?
It's kind of like, how can I say? It's I'm seeing it from the point of view of the actions that they do,
right,
next to the reactions of when it's brought to their doorstep. They're quite happy to go around slaughtering families and people's dads and stuff like this, but when it's done to them, oh God, that's a great crime. I must seek revenge. And it's like, but you do this on a regular basis, you've kind of got this coming to you, and that's the sort of thing that kind of takes me out of feeling any kind of sorrow for any of them.
Right,
I'm watching that, it's just killed. I see him going into the village slaughtering all them people, and it's like, oh, right, okay, I'm done.
Right,
yeah. I've got to have something that makes me want to get behind that character who's on that road for revenge.
Yeah, that's interesting. Go on, sorry. Hello.
To be fair, when he went into the village, it was just a job to do, wasn't it? They were going in there first, so then the other people could come in after and just waltz in there and go, oh, look at the dirty scum over here. Maybe we'll sell some of these people. So, I think once that was all done, he wasn't reveling in the death and the destruction and the killing and the maiming or anything like that. He was just there, kind of solemn.
My reading of that particular scene, especially because I think that's the one that kind of taints your view of it. Really, was that when you see him, he's kind of at his lowest ebb. He's the dog. He's become a wolf. He's symbolically he's gone back to that rather than being the man who's going to wreak revenge. and it's only when he finds out about the slaves going to Fenrir that he sort of sees an inn and he becomes the man again and takes control. So almost like he's gone feral.
Yeah.
And
Well, pretty much, because like the berserkers are like a hired muscle, and they are kind of they are like the outcasts and men beyond the pale.
Yeah.
In medieval and Norse sort of thing, the idea of like if you were an outlaw, it meant literally you had no more rights than a wolf or a bear.
Yeah.
And what outlaws were called wolves' heads. And so berserkers are guys who are they're like the shock troops. They're fucking nutters who you hire. You know what I mean? You don't have berserkers as part of the Prince King's armed guards. They're not respectable. They are a blunt instrument employed by people to go and fuck things up. And they're just mercenaries, basically.
Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, what I was going to say was that there's a lot of symbolism about wolves and foxes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Robert Eggers chucks symbolism about like other people chuck around sort of like CGI lightning effects. I mean, he was, there's the whole thing about, you're being a wolf, you're being a creature of the land, you're following foxes to magicians and wizards and, this sort of thing. And that whole thing of them all wearing the wolves' clothing before attacking that base. Oh, sorry, that base. That makes it sound like some sort of military compound. Before attacking that, that outpost, that farm, he's just a tool. He's just battling his way through. He's not really doing anything else. He's not thinking about anything.
No, he's going through the motions, isn't he?
And I think it goes back to what Jim was saying, and I kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of agree with that, is that you can't judge everything because you're judging it by, standards which are literally, 1,300 odd years in the future. We're it'd be like, it'd be like someone in the year 3,400 or something looking back at us and going, oh, you see, they used to talk to their smart speakers in such a disrespectful way. Do you know what I mean? And then you can't, you're not mentally in a position to sort of judge people with such a massively different perspective on the world. They might not align with how we view the world now, which is fair enough. But when you're looking at something like one of these films by a filmmaker like that, who's tied to authenticity like a drowning man to a lifeboat, you've got to kind of say, well, no, he's doing that thing of not being judgmental about his characters. And just,
although you do have the son, forget his name now, the Proud or whatever his name was.
Which the one who
Brotherless,
the one who loses his heart.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Just doesn't have the heart. But
there's
Thorin the Proud
there.
Borin the Proud. That's it. Yeah,
that's it.
He's like a Viking social networker, really. So he's been raised as a prince. He's not actually had to fight for any of this, and he's super entitled and contemptuous. In a way, he's not earned the right. So another big thing in the Viking culture is that they did glorify battle, and if you died in battle, that was an honourable death, and you had fought well. And they didn't have animosity to their enemies. It was just, that was the way it was. You know what I mean? If you kill me, oh, well, good on you. I'll get to go to Valhalla and we'll all meet up there and have a drink and it doesn't matter because that's just the way the world's decreed it has to be. And they sort of made that, dying in battle was a virtue. Fighting was a virtue.
Yeah.
But you acted with honour. That was the idea. And Thorin the Proud is a twat, as in he's kind of not, he's not, he's not living up to the idea of being noble.
No.
If you know what I mean. Because this whole thing of kind of, you get where you are because of the will of the gods and fate and your actions, and if you act poorly like his uncle did, you'll fucking lose everything. You kill your brother, that's pretty fucking low. Right, you lose your kingdom. That's for starters. But we've got this domino here called Amleth who's coming to fuck you up big style and finish the job.
He did actually show him the greatest disrespect as well. Amleth showed him the greatest disrespect he possibly could. He killed him in his bed.
Oh,
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. He killed him right through. He took the heart. He killed him. No chance of a sword in his hand. That's it. He wants the whatever it is that the souls go to when they don't go to Valhalla. They
Tesco's.
Yeah, Tesco's. His soul is now off to that place. It's like I say, the ultimate mark of disrespect.
Yeah, Fenrir has gone to Iceland.
Yep, quite literally.
He's dropped his car keys in one of them freezers.
God, here we go again. Mum's gone to Iceland, and all we got was a tiny hut and some goats.
Tell me you've never dropped your keys in them.
Oh, yeah. Right to the bottom.
Yep.
Always between the bloody chickens. Always.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say the one thing I was going to say was the magic stuff, the magical realism stuff. Now we've seen it. I don't know how many of you guys have actually watched The Witch. I'm guessing you have, Jim.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But, The Witch and with The Lighthouse as well, there's this kind of magical realism. There's kind of all these weird things going on, which kind of don't tell you the story, but kind of all factor into the story and eventually all makes perfect sense. When it all started to go sort of very, shall we say, Robin of Sherwood, with witches and swords that can only come out at night and magic zombies that live under the ground that you have to steal swords off of and stuff like that. How did you feel about that? Because it starts off fairly straightforward, the film, and then as the film goes on, those kind of not weird but magic realist moments start to become more and more kind of outlandish. So 1 minute it's just, there's Bjork and then she fucks off and you don't see where she went to. And it's like, oh, where you been? Where did you go? Oh, magic witch. And then, and you've got Ethan Hawke and the kid basically standing there while naked Willem Dafoe goes, yes, you be beasts of men. You're not really, you're dogs, don't walk like a man. Sort of thing. And it's all a bit sort of like Wicker Man. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you've got Valkyries with bad dental work and zombie knights holding magic swords, and it's like, oh, we've gone right off the range now.
The dental stuff. Now, Jim, you probably would know this, but I think I read that they used to cut their teeth so they would appear more menacing.
Yeah,
and they
follow them some points.
Right, okay. Because they actually cut grooves across the teeth. So they look like they're wearing braces, but they're not. But it's like grooves on the teeth, so they would look and appear more menacing. But I may be wrong.
That rings a bell, yeah. No, they did a lot of crazy shit like that to look frightening.
Yeah.
I mean, my take on it is, we see a lot of this through Amleth's eyes. And how much of it's like with the zombie night. You have this. He goes in the barrow. It wakes up. Barrow takes the sword. He chops his head off. But then you cut back, and he's just standing in front of it, and he just takes the sword off a corpse.
Yeah,
and it's kind of. I don't think you're meant to interpret these things as being literally happening, but the things they're visions he has, as it were.
Right. Okay. Because I was
and
trying to
all the magical stuff like the witch. Was she there? No, he was probably he just saw her in a med. The same way as at the end when he kisses Anna Taylor-Joy, he has that vision It goes back to the first vision he has with his father, who kind of when he's initiated into with the shaman. He sees the his ancestor and his line on branches on the world tree. And suddenly he has a flash of that, and he knows she's pregnant, and it is kind of, and when I think back to it, it's kind of all those other elements. Yeah, it's only him seeing it, and they are visions he's having. That's his, because that's his view of the world he lives in. I mean, the Norse, did have its rich mythology, but it was very intertwined with the real world. I mean, hell they saw as being a literal place. If you rode for 9 days in a certain direction, you would find the land of the dead.
Right.
It's kind of these things are all intermingled in a way we sort of think of things as being separate. It's all one world. 9 different worlds all overlap on the world tree.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. Because I was going to say, now that you're bringing up the fact that only oh my god, all the bloody names, my brain's gone numb. That my brain, I can't remember his name. Amleth.
Yep.
The fact that only Amleth's seeing a lot of this stuff, because I was thinking, oh no, Anya Taylor-Joy is like the Earth Witch and all this kind of stuff, but then I'm thinking, no, you only see her do the whole thing with the wind and all that kind of stuff once he's dropped in the water and the boat sailed away. So, is it him being being a sort of unreliable narrator and mythologizing his own revenge? And
so do you think that that's in his mind of he envisions her riding off into the sunset on the boat?
Yeah,
under a massive gale of wind.
Yeah, that she summoned up herself, to drive her forward.
I really like that bit, by the way, when she starts spouting the magic stuff on board the ship and really builds it up, and it just finishes with that crescendo of the arms up in the air.
Yeah, that's sort of yeah. Beef rendang chantilly tuck tuck, and she's off. Yeah, but by the way, I've just looked it up. Robert Eggers has actually spoken to archaeologist Neil Price, who wrote several books on the subject of Valkyrie, and he actually said that they had chevron V shapes ground into their teeth that were then filled with resin to make them look more fearsome. And that's what it is. Even though it looks like a set of Invisalign things, they're actually V's ground into the front of the teeth. There you go. Because Valkyries were supposed to be terrifying demons of war. There you go. And the fact that they got turned into ladies is more of a male gaze Christianized version of them. So there you go.
When the magical stuff started turning up proper, that's when I started distancing myself a little bit from it. Really?
You found that a bit off-putting then?
A little bit, yeah. I get like the crow landing and him looking at the crow. And it's like, okay, well, that's always a symbol of something, isn't it? I get that. But and like the sword fight for the actual sword itself and the witch, and okay, I'm going along with this. And then you have the Valkyrie just whisking him away. And you're like, what did actually happen there? Did Anya Taylor-Joy ride him there, or what? Sorry,
You were.
I think I was going to say I think that was in the hot tub, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the thing. I forget what happened, but then he rode off, and then they were at the hot tub, and she was like, "Well, I didn't ride you then." It's like, well, what happened? It was all a bit disjointed. I didn't really understand what was going on there.
Well,
I don't mind the mystical stuff. I'm not a massive fan of that stuff, so
no, that's
I find it quite hard. But the like the howling with the foxes or the wolves and stuff like that, that's cool. And like the sword that won't come out exactly. Okay, that's cool, but I don't know, when it gets into big, massive plot points of getting away and then recuperating, and then all of a sudden they're in their like Gap
Well, if
cardigans, it's weird.
Gap cardigans.
Oh yeah,
No, it's quite simple, I think. Really, it's just kind of that was what happened in his head while he was unconscious and in a delirium.
I was going to say exactly
he wakes
that.
up and says, "Are you a Valkyrie?" He says, "No, I carried you here. Come on."
Yeah, because that's the thing. He's mythologizing it all now. He's justifying it all in his head, and that's I know we made the joke about.
So am I mythologizing it too much? Then am I taking it literally?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't mean to be rude, but maybe you're the whole point of the magical stuff, and I know exactly what you're saying, because I was kind of halfway there, and then I'm sort of like, no, this is Robert Eggers. 5 minutes ago we were watching a film about two guys on a fucking rock with a lighthouse, and one of them suddenly starts out going off for a wanking shed. Someone kills a seagull, and next thing you know, you got a mermaid on a rock, and a bloke start bollock naked doing the Prometheus thing.
See, now with that, I like that because you feel unsettled in the movie straight away. There's lots of posing. When they actually get to the lighthouse and before they go into it, they both just stand there looking at this camera, and you feel a bit edgy. And it kind of suits it. And so you're like, oh, this makes me feel a bit creepy. I wonder what's going on here. That feels a bit peculiar. People don't normally do that in films. Whereas this film didn't do that.
Well, it didn't. It didn't. The problem is it's a different kind of film, isn't it? You've got The Witch was kind of one of those, like I say, one of those folk horror kind of things. The Lighthouse was ostensibly a Lovecraftian, tale of madness, and then you've got this, which is a revenge tale. It's almost a completely different thing. You couldn't really include those horror elements, those unsettling elements. It's like, what if you were watching Gladiator? Just because Ridley Scott made Blade Runner, if a skimmer suddenly landed in the middle of the field in Gladiator, you'd be like, what the fuck is happening here? It's that kind of thing. You couldn't quite tie things together from previous films. The only thing I would say is the magical realism, unreliable narrator thing. The more I think about it now, as we're talking about it, the more I think that's kind of the key. It's not that you were taking it the wrong way, because like I say, I was kind of halfway there with you. But now that Jim's pointed out, the only time you ever see the magical stuff is from Amleth's point of view. You never ever see it from anyone else's.
See, I'm not saying that we've said that too many times. I know I've said that too many times about, it's all in his head. But this kind of was then. It was just all in his head.
I mean, what do you guys think? Jim, Darren, anyone?
Well, I think Rob Eggers has played it sort of quite cleverly, because it's kind of in Amleth's story arc. I mean, he's kind of, when his father returns, he takes him to see the shaman Bill, whose name I've completely forgotten. William Dafoe, sorry.
Yeah.
And
shaman Bill.
He's effectively initiated into his father's cult.
Yeah.
I just got that.
But from then on, though, he's kind of, his visions stack up with that. Like the crows coming to rescue him, the crows were taken to Odin, as is the wolf. So it's kind of his god helping him out. And it's kind of, you can argue, is it him just mythologizing his own story? Is it something more psychedelic? Because he's been gone through this initiation, he will have these visions, and whether they're hallucinations or whether they're a perception of a different reality, who knows? He doesn't know. We don't know. All we know, this is what he experiences, and it gives you the flavor of the wider world of that. It's all part of the context of the story. This is, a world they lived in, and how they saw the world and how they understood the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's how they're making sense of the whole thing.
Mm.
I mean, you could almost say that his sword not coming out until it's nighttime could be due to, the fact that the sword itself wasn't made properly in the sheath, and so therefore the sheath that holds the sword kind of warms up in the summer sun, expands inside the sheath, and you can't take it out. So you have to wait until it's nighttime when it's cold enough.
You've
it's
thought
cold
about this a lot, haven't you?
I have. It's cold enough, and when it's cold enough, the metal shrinks just that enough that you can take it out of the sheath. So therefore, suddenly, it's a sword that only works at night. It's magical.
Mm-hmm.
But suddenly,
All
but
right,
there's a
Mythbusters. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. we get this. All right.
Mythbusters. What a cunt.
My name's Adam Savage. I'm going to prove that this thing does a thing. There we go.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like that whole thing. It's mythologizing things that they don't understand, or mythologizing things to give them a reason to give him a reason to do things. Why am I going to abandon my partner with a baby? Well, because I've still got to do this revenge thing because a witch told me several months ago that this was going to happen and I must do it.
So did he ever get revenge on his uncle, or was all that in the end in his head?
I've got another question. Let's take it. Let's
go
wind
on.
this back even further.
Here we go. Yeah.
Did he ever leave the Viking church?
Oh, so you're saying
is he a small boy having a vision?
Is he off his mash sitting there while William Dafoe tells him he's still a dog?
Let's do the cliche thing. Let's say that, it's the three-legged dog America. But could it be that?
Is the three-legged wolf Iceland?
Yes. Or B-Jams, one of the two.
Is it Frey Bentos?
Frey Bentos.
I mean, it's possible. I find it unlikely, but it's possible. But it's to answer Elton's question about did he get the revenge. I'd like to think he did. I think that bit was kind of genuine.
Because it was like party naked time.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the
There
kind
wasn't
of
a single pubic hair left.
What's that film? Sons and Lovers? Is it where you've got Oliver Reed and Alan? Is it
Alan Bennett?
Alan Bennett doing the naked wrestling in front of the fire.
Women in Love, you mean?
Is it Women in Love? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's also the thing in kind of in certain circumstances, it was considered fighting naked was the most honourable thing to do, and basically to use a northern thing, a wearing armour, that's for poofs, man. But if you're really, really serious, you're going, right, come on. I mean, it still actually
Get your
happens
pants
now.
off.
I mean, seriously,
Grease me
how
up,
many
you cunt.
kickoffs at a pub you've seen, and what do people do? They go outside and they take their coats off and sometimes their shirts off.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
don't know. It goes hardwired into the male psyche. I'm going to fight. I better get my kit off. What?
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's the was it Brosnan thing with Tom Hardy? Get that wax right in my ass, oi! And I've just realised I said Alan Bennett instead of Alan Bates. Rolling around.
That
Well,
would be very different.
I've been fighting about.
I had myself a chocolate bourbon, which was just right for when Oliver Reed came round and we had a naked wrestle in front of the hearth. Nan wasn't happy because, of course, it made a mess of a rug, and she'd been cleaning that all morning. Jesus Christ! Right.
What the hell is happening?
Oh, yeah. Just don't do Alan Bates. Alan Bates, not Alan.
Yeah.
Alan Bennett.
Gordon Bennett, more like.
Gordon Bennett, yeah. So, yeah, I think the final showdown does happen because, as much as anything, it's violent, it's abrupt. There is no mythologizing, and it isn't partied. It isn't sort of foo-fooed up with magic magic
No.
wizards or animals or creatures of myth and legend coming down to assist him or whatever. It literally is just him standing there going rah, and then he has one fight and he basically goes down like a sack of spuds, and gets a lucky shot in on his uncle. Which goes back to the old-fashioned sort of, revenge. Revenge gives you nothing, but destroys you and eats you up inside and ruins everything. So, I'm pretty sure that was pretty straightforward. But yeah, as for the magical, the other magical stuff, like the Valkyrie riding him to somewhere to safety, or foxes leading him to a crazy old he-witch in Castle Grayskull to eat some mushrooms and go, yeah, I'm gonna have another fight. I mean, all that stuff I think is maybe a little bit off the range.
What about his mother?
Oh yes.
She was fantastic.
Right. Okay. So, what did everyone think about that twist? I mean, let's go around the table. Darren.
It's like, you what? I've been hacking my way across fucking Europe, and you're telling me this now, mother? You never liked that. You could have just, maybe imparted that information to me, or something. I don't know. Blink a few times or something. Just to signal it. That's just and plus, I've only got your word that Dad was evil, because history is written by the victors. So, maybe you like to look at the uncle and you thought, oh, I'm having me a slice of that cake there with some tea and maybe a few crisps on the side.
Do you think she's a survivalist?
Do I think she's a survivalist?
Yeah, so she her husband is slain, and then so she goes with the brother just to survive in this life, and then she even proposes that she goes with her son.
I think she's a bit of a wrong'un. Who
that's
deserves
a
to be
technical
on,
historical term. That is,
who deserves to be on a special fucking list. Straight away, put some fucking bromide in that tea, for God's sake. Yeah, that's what I think of her. She's again, not a sympathetic character, really.
No, not one.
In many ways, everything that happens is, you could say, might be her fault.
yes,
I think
Because
so.
she was clearly pulling the uncle's strings.
well, she's pulling
at
more
some
than
point
these strings.
But how much was the uncle killing Amlet's father was down to her going, go on, do him in. You can take the kingdom.
That's very true, actually.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, for me, the key bit was when Ethan Hawke's character comes back from whatever crusade he's been on, and then comes back and she goes, oh, essentially in very flowery language says, oh, you've been away a while, I'm a bit antsy, do you fancy some? And he kind of goes, nah, busy, got other places to pillage, that kind of thing. I'll swear off, actually. I might go and lay down. I'll see you later. And then you cut to the hall celebrations, and when Willem Dafoe's flipping around going, oh yeah, it's not the only wet jug in this room. She wants a bit of wood in her, sort of honk, doing his best Roy Chubby Brown circa 700 AD. Ethan Hawke's character doesn't step in and say, oi, you're out of line. It's actually Fenrir that does that. sort of steps in and goes,
Yes,
I'm gonna smack you right upside the head, you goony fuck. And then, yeah, that's me translating it to the to the modern parlance. I should do subtitles right at the bottom. You know, take the woman's wife in name in vain, and it's like, nah, you're in a wrong un, mate. You know, just put it right underneath. So, I think it was all premeditated, and I don't think Ethan Hawke's character was particularly sympathetic because of the whole thing that he just let it happen. And so to find her pulling the strings doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did surprise me was, by the way, guess what? I was taken as a paid lady of the night with negotiable affections.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? I've done it with worse, and you're still around. So maybe we could work something out. It's like, ooh, hey.
I still don't understand what you mean, Mother. Well, let's see. All right, you remember that film Pretty Woman?
Do you remember that film Old Boy?
Yeah.
Do you remember Old Boy? We're going to do a bit of role reversal. What? So, and I'm off to an Italy castle. No, anyway, yes. So I don't think she was a survivalist in sort of like she will do anything to survive, but I do think she was, you know, it was kind of mythologizing again the manipulative nature. I think the fact that you only see that with her and him, I think it would not surprise me that, you know, if someone told me that Amleth imagined that last bit.
Yeah.
Just having a little thought. Do you think Amleth's life really has been controlled by women? So his mother. Then you've got Anna Taylor-Joy's character. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in on that.
And you also got the witch as well, Bjork. All kind of guiding, prodding, poking in certain directions.
Pardon the phrasing. I mean, I'll throw it to the floor, but as Jim and Darren can step in on this, but as far as I can see, females were kind of in this film are kind of in two camps. One's the ones that are just kind of, you're not allowed to speak. You're here for a use. Go over here.
Yeah.
And then the ones that are actually pushing the story along and aren't manipulating Amleth in a sort of malicious way. It just shows that he's just a creature of instinct at this point.
Right. Okay.
He goes, you know, he's kind of berserker. He goes in the direction you're pointing him in, and he really only gets back into the whole sort of going to kill Fenrir until he finds out that's where the slaves are, or that's where the slaves are going.
Mm-hmm.
He would otherwise, if that hadn't been said, you know, it's like the Star Destroyer gunner on the escape pod. You know, if that guy had just blown up that escape pod, the whole of the 9 movies would have never happened. But it's the same. It's this, you know, the one slaver is the Death Star gunner, is the Star Destroyer gunner of this situation. If he hadn't mentioned Fenrir's name, Amleth would have just spent the rest of his life just trudging around going, I will save you, mother. I will avenge you, father. I will kill you, Fenrir.
Yeah.
With no idea of what he was going to do. Literally no idea. So I don't see him as maliciously manipulative, more giving him purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if anyone
It
else
was just
agrees.
off the top of my head type thought, really.
No, it's a good thought. I don't know if anyone else agrees with Elton or me or what. And Jim, you're giggling. Which way do you think?
I don't know. It's an interesting question. It's kind of like a lot in this film. I think you can argue it convincingly in several different ways, and I hadn't considered kind of as I think I had sort of after I finished watching it. Would you say Was all of that Nicole Kidman's fault?
Mm.
You know, because he's kind of that's the chain of dominoes.
Yeah.
Where does it start? But I think it's interesting. I think because the Anna Taylor-Joy character is more of a contrast. She kind of offers him a different way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And she sort of almost trying to talk him out of this this acceptance of this fate he's hell bent on pursuing.
Mm. Yeah.
And you're always reminded that he has a choice. There is another way.
Yeah.
And in the end, he chooses not to take it.
Mm. Exactly, because that's all he's known, and that goes back to what I'm saying. It's like now he's got a purpose. That's the only purpose he knows to have. So off he goes. He couldn't, even if he had stayed with Anya Taylor-Joy on that boat and sailed off to another realm and raised the children, he would have been shit at it because he hasn't done anything else. He's got no life experience apart from murder, kill, rage, kill, rend, maim, destroy. So, yeah, the fact that they just sort of give him choices and he kind of goes, oh, that's the choice I'm making. That's not really them manipulating him. That's just them pushing him along a path because he's chosen to go that way because he's got no other direction. He's just a directionless ball of impotent rage, basically. Do you think that, Dal? Do you think the women were manipulating him, or was he just tuddling along, just killing things?
Well, I think in his grief for his father, which became all-encompassing, they saw an opportunity. Nicole Kidman's character was manipulating everybody along the way anyway. She was, like a fucking conductor in an orchestra. But I think Anya Taylor-Joy's involvement, her character was a little bit more. There was a good reason for it. It was to escape and also possibly to get revenge for what had happened to her tribe or her father or whatever it was that she wanted offed. And she needed the muscle to do it.
Yeah.
And Alex Skarsgård character was more than enough muscle.
Yeah.
That was it.
Cool.
So I think it's very different levels for different characters as to what's behind that manipulation.
Okay. Cool. I'm very acutely aware of the time at this point.
So am I.
so
is my bladder.
Yes, and I was going to say, so I think as much as I'd probably like to carry this conversation on, I'm very aware that we've recorded for an hour and 15 and Darren's bladder's about to explode and God knows that he's at the age where that's not a good idea.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So before his prostate gives out, I think we should probably just say, any last thoughts on this film before we go? Jim? Elton?
No.
I was going to say, I was
hoping between Wise and Witty, but it wasn't going to come at this time.
No.
They created Quidditch. There we go.
They did. I did say that actually. Creating Quidditch. I also did say because I was watching it with Carol, there was a whole bit with the sort of like and they're doing all that stuff around the fire, and then they finish. And then, and then I turned around and said, "And now Wonderwall." But anyway,
this is me.
And I was waiting for Matthew McConaughey to turn up and go, "Humma." Anyway, but we'll leave it there because that's going to go off on one, and I can already sense it.
Yep.
So let's just leave it there and say thank you, Elton, for saving the recording with this Zencast.
Well,
and I would record Zencast.
We haven't saved it yet, so let's wrap everything up quickly.
Let's wrap everything up quickly. Okay, fair. Well, in which case, ladies and gentlemen, If you would like to send any feedback in, if you think there's anything we missed, anything you would like to raise or explore further, by all means, send in feedback to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com or jump on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, and leave a little message underneath the episode. And hopefully we'll be back next week to do this. And again, apologies for this episode being out late, but clean feed. Fuck clean feed. In fact, that's our that's our phrase that plays at the end of this episode. Fuck clean feed.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So yes, there you go. We'll leave it there. So Darren, before your bladder turns into a massive space opera and you piss yourself out the window like a fire hose.
Yep.
Tell us, what's next week's movie?
Okay, so next week's movie is one that I really did want to go and see at the cinema when it came out, but never got a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad it's now cropped up
Mm-hmm.
on the streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2022 film.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is we've had. I don't know if we're playing a game at the moment because we've had the Anya Taylor-Joy connection, which is Furiosa, and then this, and now we've got a film that's also, this new one has also got Ethan Hawke in it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gone from that, and I just wonder if we can maybe
6
keep this going.
six degrees of separation, like a chain game,
Yeah, it's like that. It's that whole thing of starting the next. It's that game where you start the next word with the last letter of the previous word.
Okay,
It's kind of like that, I think. That's what we're
Okay.
doing. So, a film from 2022 starring Ethan Hawke, by the name of The Black Phone.
Ooh. Okay.
Black foam or phone?
The Black Phone, and it is on Netflix. It's only just been added.
The black foam is a different thing entirely. It's got
Yeah.
something to do with car polish, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Oh, right. The black phone. Okay. That's very cool. All right, then. So cool. That's really cool. That's the is it Joe Hill or is it Stephen King? I can never remember.
Based on a Joe Hill story directed by Scott Derrickson, if memory serves.
Who did Doctor Strange, and that there was another one as well. Sinister. That's it, Sinister. Which also starred Ethan Hawke. There you go.
Hmm.
Brilliant. Okay, well, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a call on the black phone.
No, the white phone.
The white courtesy phone. No, the black phone. Okay, so quick questions, obviously. Has anyone seen this film? Jim, have you seen this film?
I have, yes.
Are you looking forward to seeing it again?
I am, yes, yeah.
Cool, okay. And Elton?
No, never heard of it. Looking forward to it, though.
Okay. I think we might be on the potato scale with you, Elton.
Oh, God. Really? Is it one of them?
It's one of them.
It is rated 15, but I'm looking at the premise for this, and I think this is
So
probably
was
going to
Lake
be more
Mungo.
spooky. Yeah.
Lake Mungo was a 15 as well. I haven't seen this film. I've heard of it, and I've wanted to see it for a while, so I'm quite interested to see this. And Darren, I'm taking it you haven't seen it then?
I've not seen it, but I was intrigued enough to want to go and see it, but never got round to it.
Okay.
At the cinema. So this is going to be this is going to be a good watch, hopefully.
Okay, brilliant. Right, so that's it. Next week, the black phone. No, the black phone. And and sorry, you did the joke first, Elton, but I just had to pull it out again.
Yeah.
And
You pick up the black phone and you hear Maserati 1970. Sell it to me.
talk to me.
Talk to me.
Standing ladder. Talk to me. Anyway, so let's go over to Pimp's Corner now before we get into Tony Tibbs and impressions. Jim, what's happening over at hypnagoria.com?
I'm continuing my retrospective on Roger Corman.
Lovely. Well done. And it's good stuff so far. And that's over at hypnagoria.com.
It is indeed.
Brilliant. And what about you, Elton?
Just talking about cars going round in circles, we do have something else coming out very soon, but it's not the time to mention it just yet.
Right. Okay. So it's your Girls of War podcast, is it?
That's right. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Decided to go into politics. So.
Obviously, that would be
that's going to end well.
That's going to work out well. Yeah. Okay then. So and that's over at Rogue 2 Media. The car going round in circles, not the gag that I just made, which was poor taste.
Yes.
So
that's
yes,
right.
no, I wouldn't want you to get into trouble. Not while I'm already in trouble. So there you go. So anyway, that's it. Darren, I guess you're like me, just sitting here.
Yep. That's it.
I love the quick voice. Your voice is getting quicker and more awake as we get closer and closer towards bladder fullness.
It's amazing what adrenaline can do for you at this time of night. It really is.
Yeah,
everything becomes hyper real. The colours are brighter. The sounds are louder.
You now have a prostate so strong that you could actually crack a walnut with it. But anyway,
I can hear Foxy's walking across the gravel out there in the car park.
Anyway,
I did like that bit, by the way, where they're all in the house together, and then he's got the whatever it was, this fox thing howling, and the dog's snarling away, and he's going, "Calm down, dog, calm down." The dog just goes, "Fuck you," and then leaps on him. It's like, get off me! Help me! Help me!
Yeah. That did make me laugh, actually. Yeah. It's like, what's wrong, Bruno? Oh, fuck. Anyway, yes, let's not get back into the Northman. Not while your bladder's about to explode, because that would be a bad thing to have it rupture literally live on air.
Oh, that would be a first.
It would be a first.
Content.
It's all about content.
But not a last.
Not our last, yeah. Not the last time we've had a rupture on the air. So that's it. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
Cool. And we will say thank you to everyone for listening, getting this far. Fuck clean feed. And we'll see you all next week for The Black Phone. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da. Oh, I've got to pause it now, haven't I? Oh,
yeah,
God.
you're the one in the buttons.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, bollocks to it.